Mensa. I'm a final year student of Valley View University studying BBA management. I'm not only equipped with my educational knowledge or academic, but I possess a strong soft skills. My certification as data analyst from JV Tech Academy showcases my analytic prowess, attention to detail, and problem-solving abilities. Additionally, I demonstrate effective communication skills, adaptability, and teamwork, making me a well-rounded professional ready to excel in various roles. I'll proceed to introduce our first speaker, who is of the person Mr. Benedict Boachi Aka. Mr. Benedict Boachi Aka is an information technology professional with about 5 years of industrial experience in project management. He led in implementing strategic projects over the years for financial institutions. He is an educationalist with experience in basic and tertiary education teaching. For about a year now, Benedict started JV Tech Academy with Joshua, focusing on training people with required data analytic skills. He has his education in computer science, education, and finance as well. Proceed to introduce our second speaker as well. He is of the person Daniel Adote. He is a systems integration specialist in the financial sector. He has about 4 years of industrial experience. Mr. Daniel has his education in computer science and mathematics. He is passionate about Python and he's thrilled to share his insights and experiences in data analytics with us today. Our final and last speaker is of the person Joshua Akanife. He is an information technology professional with 4 years of experience. He is an educationalist with experience in basic and tertiary education teaching. For about a year now, he has been a partner to Benedict in forming JB Tech Academy with a focus on training people with required data analytics skills, usually on the evenings and weekends. He has his education in BSc Technology. He has certification in software secure coding and security techniques, certification in information security fundamental, and he is currently doing his master's in computer science. So that sums up our resource persons today. First of all, we invite Mr. Benedict Aka to give us a useful insight into today's topic. Thank you very much.
And you can prompt me and ask question. It's kind of dialogue and conversation. So today, the global finance organizational chart, right, has changed, whereby now data analytics, which were taught in schools to be considered mostly as an IT-based skill, is now has been moved to finance. And here in Ghana, most financial institutions have adopted this. So if you look at this chart, and I think this chart as well we presented in our previous webinar about 3 months ago, where we can see clearly business intelligence, where we talk about this data analytics force in place. Now it's being managed under the finance. Why? To give business insight about how companies should consider data, right, in making informed decisions. Okay, so it's something a skill that whether you've taken IT course or not, you need to as well have it. Okay, now what are the skills that you need to consider are or when we talk about being data analytics, what are we looking at? What tools are relevant? Now, being a data analytics, for you to qualify yourself as data, I know most of you probably have been doing some work in Excel, whereby you try to analyze data in Excel, whereby you capture your data in a form of a table, you apply some form of conditional formatting, where you don't need certain fields or columns, you take them out, where you need to merge certain columns, you do as well. You have a lot of functions in Excel that helps you to do. So at large, in the world today, this is research based. Excel dominates in the market of data analytics, and it's easy for everybody to onboard with Excel. And even looking at our African market here, Microsoft to me seems to be in every company, right? So Excel is leading, but in the course of the conversation, I'll try to show you why we still need it. Power BI, also coming from Microsoft, is also a visualization tool that you need to also know how to use as well. I know a lot of us know how to use PowerPoint, and Tableau here also dominates a lot. The reason why Tableau is also used for visualization, but this research is more focused on the US base, where even in their tertiary institution, they take courses, analytic course in respect of whatever you are studying, the discipline. So it's been taught in Tableau, but Power BI is emerging visualization tool here in Africa because Microsoft dominates mostly all the stuff that we do. So here in our sub region, Power BI is emerging technology in terms of visualization at the moment reigning. Now these are the part of the soft. Now if we talk about another side of the technical skill whereby we look at quite advanced one like the SQL, some of you might probably be new to it when you need a programming skill. So to be data analyst as well, like I said, you need to as well have some background in SQL and that list. And now Python, of which we are going to have a discussion on, and Python is friendly for you to use. That's why we've tailed our conversation on Python. We've looked at this in our previous the rest we've looked at them in our previous webinar. Now, as a data analyst, you need as well on top here we have um, the soft skills where we have you having the business IQ, having the analytics mindset on how you can communicate and how you can understand organizational mission when this one organization might have a customer data, but how do they see that customer data in terms of, let's say, the address? They have a transactional data. How do they see um, where transaction is coming from, the geographical? Will they inform them in making advertisement to such area? So two companies may be having customer data or a data, but how do they find meaning into them? All be tailored to their mission, what they've their strategic pillars, and whatever they want to achieve. So as a data analyst, you need to understand the client. You need to understand what a business stands for. You have to have analytic skills. The business acumen all has been needs to be in place before we can consider ourselves as a full set data analytics. And this can be found everywhere. Now let's talk about data analytics and business analytics. Data analytics, you having insight into the data. That's what we refer to as the data analytics. Now, the business analytics now have to guide the insight that you have derived from the data to help make more strategic meaning to the data, how the company can now leverage on the insight that has been derived from the data analyst, right? So with JV Academy, we try as we do data analytics based on the results, based on the interpretation. How can you formulate strategies around those insight that you've derived? So data analytics is looking at the insight of the data, extracting the data, and having some level of insight to guide you. And the business analytics carry on with the motive of trying to patch to the strategy of the organization, right? Now, why we are on this call, a lot of you probably have taken courses in Excel, right? But why do we need to still learn Python as you want to explore the journey of data analytics? Now, some of the advantages we have here as the scalability and the performance, whereby Excel, you can do more with analytics with Excel when you have a small size some data set, right? When we are dealing about millions and thousands of data sets, to be more efficient, Python have that capability of helping you to do a whole lot of robust jobs, right? So you need to, in not to limit yourself or to be more efficient, it's good to know the Python way and help you. And a funny thing enough, today in Microsoft Excel are testing Python. They have what we term as a beta. So anytime they are testing a software, it's termed as a beta version today, and this can be we can search it online, of which Microsoft is embedding the Python functionality in Microsoft Excel. So it's a tool. Excel was also designed for finance and accounting purposely. That's the initial concept why it came into being. So whilst people are busily testing this in their labs and to be released in Excel, it's good to have the knowledge, meaning that you we cannot stand there just like that and just using our Excel because of the quite functionality it have. In terms of data processing and transformation, the second presenter will probably talk more about the data transformation, where you need to turn the data into a desirable state whereby you can form much insight. Excel can do that. At the moment, you're able to remove duplicates in Excel, you're able to convert data, you're able to split data, you're able to convert data probably to capital caps or whether lowercase, quite a lot of them. But when, like we said, the Python functionality can do much more, of which we as well explore when we get to the demo to try to showcase more. So it's still, Python still have advantage in terms of when we want to transform data. When we talk about transform data, data itself is not in good state, but you are trying to make it look good so that you can make good analytics out of it. Now, in terms of automation, Excel, when we are using VB or Power Query, which is extended functionality in Excel, we're able to do automation. But Excel is more friendly and is user friendly, even can integrate to web stuff. So it makes it robust once you have the Python still knowledge. Um, and you can do automation more easily than Excel. I know Excel has the extended feature, like I said, the Power Query, which you can use to do the automation. So Excel still range and flexibility in terms of programming flexibility. Excel still does that, though Excel, like I said, has the VBA aspect which we use for coding. And in terms of you working with friends and others, it makes coding you share. You see, your Excel function, you are working on a data set, you have to be copying the function 1 by 1%. But Python one is a code base. You can share the entire workbook, right, or notebook to a friend to continue to review. But also in the other way, you have to go through it, either it cells or look at the format, and so it makes work more easier when we are dealing with Python in terms of the analytics. In terms of visualization, Python has more extended functionalities, more extended libraries, right? That you can indeed dive into the data to see the minute, like when we talk about the second presenter again, we'll talk about libraries like pandas where we use for reading data sets, libraries like the Seaborn, like the Matplotlib, like so a lot of it has a lot of functions, or let me say libraries that enable for you to have granular level of the data, how you can visualize and to indicate every aspect of the data. Unlike though Excel does a lot of magics, but in terms of visualization, still Python have a lot of advantage over that over that. In terms of integrating with other tools as well, Python, it can be a web base, you can integrate with other systems, and a whole lot of application you can integrate. But Excel will be limited with that functionality, so you still need Python to be considered. We have more, but to end with the why you need to consider Python. Python also have a large community whereby whatever you are doing, you can get support. Though Excel has been in existence for long, it has a good community base. By Python, now everybody is chained to that, and it has an active community with a lot of documentation, with a lot of resources that you can easily find your way out when you are working with it, and you have a quite guide that you can really dive in making work more easier. So before I stop going through this stuff, we'll look at simple scenario why we need to consider data analytics. Why? And the why will come from the next step. So we pick a case, analyzing the sales, assuming you run the sales, you run, let's say, Melcom. Melcom is just right here with us. We run any, let's say, ShopRite. You are the sales manager. What are the things that you might probably look out for? These are the scenarios. You might probably want to see sales performance, right? The metrics, right? That you want to evaluate sales performance of individuals irrespective over the past quarter. You want to have granular insight. Identify top performers, which customer group or which customer actually is doing well. You want to reward the customer. It makes life more easier because once you go on the radio, you go on the TV that you are rewarding people based on this, based on that, it will probably drive more clients to you because knows that you set as part of your strategy, you said you're going to improve the company net asset by let's say 5%, by 20% by year end. But you need strategy, you need to have insights about data, the data that you have, in guiding you in making certain decisions to ensure the forecast, to ensure what you projected can be realized. As well, we can have the same sales data set. We can have a scenario, business scenario, by saying that we want to see product performance analysis. Which product that we have in our warehouse at least go faster? Which product do people really purchase? Anytime they purchase Milo, probably they purchase a milk. You want to see which product, right? Recommendation that people once they buy, you want to have that insight about all those things. So as a sales manager, you probably may set these scenarios, and data analytics with Python and other tools can help you achieve that. I've mentioned about the sales forecasting and customer segmentation. You want to on your website, or you run as a bank financial institution, you want, if someone comes on your website based on, let's say, the person account number, also you want those people to be seeing certain kind of product. You want to see which customer group, age group, whether it's an age group or account type that will usually perform certain type of transaction. You want to as well form some strategy in ensuring that you drive them always for them to keep. You want to still keep them. Student, you've realized that student, anytime they purchase based on their account type or based on what however they are coming from, their sales transaction are of certain volume. You want to as well design certain product intending to meet their need. So it's not like you are just doing a wholesale market, but you are doing a targeted what market, and data analytics can help us with that. You are not in the competition alone. You are there with other companies. You want to understand how the market is selling for other people. You want to understand how you need to drive your pricing. You want to understand which product probably is doing well. So with data analytics, we're able to as well get insight into that space. Geographical sales analysis. Probably you want to, if Ghana here, assuming not come online, and you want to understand, is it people from Ashanti region that perform does more transaction? Do you want to open new branches there? So you are being guided which areas are doing well. What strategy do you want to set in place to ensure performance is being shoot? So you want to do geographical analysis, of which in our second presentation you try to look at all these things. You want to the channel analysis, which customers probably once they transact with you are maintained. You want to see if you launch a product, you still keep a certain clients or not. You want to put strategy, and data analytics as well can give you all this forecast. Sales um, channel effectiveness. You want to see your company have online channels, you have a mobile app, you have ATM, you probably have a whole lot of channels that you use to perform transactions. You want to see which channel usually a lot of you get a lot of either value or right that you get from. With data analytics, you are sure with, and we can count a lot of scenarios as a manager. So you think as executive, what would the executive person do? As a middleman, what would the middleman, as a the guy at the ground or the engineer, how would the person do? You formulate policies or business scenarios. And data analytics, like I said in the earlier presentation where I was talking about the skills, you understanding the mission will guide you which policies or will guide you which scenarios you want the data to reflect, and to guide you to make a formulated policies or strategies. And know that without data you cannot get that, you cannot get it all that right. But data analytics will help you get more insight about whatever you're doing to ensure that you are being guided well. Customer lifetime value, cross-selling, upscaling opportunity, inventory management, and promotion of market effectively. I think my other presentation I talked about this. Now this will be my last slide, right? So we try to empower trainees with knowledge in Excel, Power BI, SQL, um, Tableau, right? Ensuring that in terms of the technical tools you are being covered. We also enhance soft skills, as I mentioned in my previous presentation, which is quite needed. It's not about you thinking IT. You have to rationalize or think as a business person. We teach you that no, you need to approach data analysis with a business mindset and not an IT mindset. Building skills whereby you can really perform a good data transformation agenda. Know that you can have a good result, good outcome when your transformation is not good. So we spend time across the tools to do more of data transformation, teach you the various techniques how you can do data transformation. We also ensure we get people from both the academia and business to give you more guided journey so that you feel covered across board. We also provide fundamental Python programming, which we usually do with data analytics. So I'll end here. Then we go into the main agenda where our second presenter, Robert, who is the second presenter, will take over from me. So thank you very much for this short. I know it was a short presentation, but I think I've taken much time than usual. So, Robert, you can take
Yeah,
over.
yeah. So thank you, Mr. Benedict. This was really insightful.
But any before that, Robert, if anyone has a question for me, I
Oh,
think
okay, okay.
okay. Is there any question for me? All right. So I think Robert, you
Okay,
can go.
thank you for the insightful knowledge you've impacted into us. We'll move on to our second speaker, who is of the person, Mr. Daniel. He will take us through the demo aspect. So, Mr. Daniel, please you can carry on.
Thank you, Robert, and good evening to everyone. Um, Let me quickly present. Robert, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, your screen is on now.
Okay, so my name is Daniel, and I'll be taking you through the next section. So I'll be showcasing some of the things you can do with Python in terms of data analytics. And I must say, Python isn't the only programming language you can use. We have R programming too, but there is a reason most people choose Python, like Benedict said. Um, Python is very easier to use, it's very easy to learn, and Python can be easily integrated to a lot of systems. I personally have used Python a number of times. I have used Python to integrate some of our systems and where I currently work. So I would quickly dive in and show you what we have for you today. So this is an Excel, a data set we'll be using for the demo. As you can see, we have the columns from order ID to sales. So we'll dive in and see how we can use Python to tackle data analytical problems. So coming to my Python tool, so this is Visual Studio. Ideally, you can use Jupyter Notebook, but there's an extension in Visual Studio which makes me use Jupyter from here. So as you can see, we have data analytics lifecycle. We start from getting the data, then transform the data, which involves cleaning, wrangling, modeling, pre-processing. Then you move to the analytics phase. Then you interpret the data, data interpretation or visualization. So as we start, as you can see from my screen, we are importing some libraries. Bear with me if you don't understand some of these codes, but these are pretty basic stuff. So for you to understand, you need Python prerequisites, but I understand some of us on the call are beginners. So we have JB Tech, you can enroll with JB Tech and they'll guide you through Python basics, fundamental, and you can be able to write this kind of code from beginner to advanced. So we start by importing libraries. So with every Python project you have, we import the necessary libraries you need for your project. So Python, as Benedict said, is a community. Its community is very large where we have other people contributing to the project, the Python programming language. So others have taken time to build necessary libraries to make things simpler for you. We have pandas, numpy, matplotlib, cborn, time. So pandas can be used for extensive data extraction features and data analytical stuff, and numpy for computation, advanced computation, and matrices, and matplotlib and cborn for visualization. And the time function is for any tasks that involves using time as the name suggests. So at first, we first get data. So before you use the data, we need to read the data or load the data. So in Python, using the pandas library, we call the pandas. Over here, we have given the pandas more of like a nickname or an alias, PD. So instead of writing the full pandas, you'll be seeing PD along the line. So pd.readcsv. So this readcsv is more like a method. So pandas has a lot of methods or functions that you can use, and such is the reading of the CSV file. So we read the file which is located here. That's a string CSV, this Excel sheet. So reading it, yeah, Benedict.
Yeah, so before you continue, a lot of our audience are not
Okay, okay, I get that.
friends. So what Daniel is trying to say is, back in primary school, we define computer to be an electronic device that accept data, process data, and output the data. Right? This was the common definition they gave us. So Daniel at this phase is trying to get the data. So that's all the computing device. This is how that is the basic framework they work. That's why he in his code or working environment, he tried to showcase the journey where we need to get data and process. The data transformation is nothing but how we can process the data. And in what you process is what you get at the end of the day. And like he said, with the libraries as well, libraries, those of you who use Excel, for you to do any computation, Excel, we talk about the functions and formulas. For instance, you want to perform certain computation. Let's say you want to add numbers, right? You have to call the sum function. You want to find the highest number amount certain range. You have to call a function called, let's say, the max, right? So in Python, for you to, for instance, the pandas he mentioned, for you to deal with any structured type of data, you need to call the library or the function called the pandas to support it. Other than that, it's not going to work, right? So these are basic things. So like the same as a mindset. So it's not difficult. We are transposing the same level of knowledge here. So see the libraries as you talk about. As Excel, you need to perform certain computation and you need to call a function, right? So we have to declare the function here and make it known to the environment before we can start using them. So that's what I wanted to refer to. So just to add to that.
Thank you, Benedict. So let's proceed. Like Benedict said, so as we load the data, over here we assign it to what we call the variable, the sales data set. So we then call the sales data set like the one here. So this is just a summary of the data. So it just give you, Python just gives you a summary of the data, especially when the data is large. So it gives you a preview so that you know what you are working with. Going, you can do a lot of computations to understand more about the data. That comes to transform the data. Before we get transform the data, we have to understand the data we are working with.
Daniel, let me ask what coming in. So what Daniel has loaded is like you opening the data in your Excel notebook. Okay. So here too, he has loaded it. So Excel, once you click the file or the local disk and it opens up in the Excel environment, that is exactly what Daniel has done. So now we have the data set and now we are now going to play with it, right? Trying to process. So now to use the data to be processed, go to file. Let you have the same experience as Daniel is, right? Systems admin. Yeah.
So yeah, as you can see, I just wrote this simple code using the describe method. So what it does when we hover a little, it gives you little details about the function. So what it does, it gives you a summary about the numerical columns in the data. So As you can see, it gives you the count of the rows, and it gives you the mean, the standard deviation, and up to the max. So if you want to perform statistical analysis, you can use all this. All this comes from reloading with the PD. So as we load with the pandas, it becomes a data frame. So giving us access to use certain functions. So if we want to check more info about the data, there's another function we could use called the sales, the info function. So with just one line of code, we can see what the data is about. It tells you, gives you the headers of the data and what data type it is. So if it's a numerical data type, it's a string. If it's a float, which is decimal, integer is a numerical object, a string. So it gives you, it describes what kind of data that is in a data set. So,
Yeah, so Daniel, sorry
yeah,
to add my. So to really do a good job, you need to understand what level of data you're dealing with.
exactly.
And Python is quite simple. You may be thinking
It's a
it's
yeah,
you may
but then it could be,
yes, but maybe yeah, maybe you have something a text in there. For instance, let's say you are dealing with amount column. So once it encourages something, you may be thinking is normal, but once you want to perform any statistical analysis or you want to perform any computation on it, it will flag an error, meaning that it's a text. So with the info function, you get to understand what kind of data set that you are looking at. So you need to examine the data to know what type of data you are working with first. And like you said, in Python, you can go through that to perform a high-level statistical analysis on the data set based on the columns that have unique numbers. Okay.
okay. Thank you, Benedict. Okay, so let's move on. So this part, I think some of it you may see is at advanced. So don't worry. Benedict has some exciting offers from JB Tech, which you can enroll and understand all this we are doing here. So just bear with us if you don't get it. So we'll try and explain to you guys. So we have this sorting out the data like we do in Excel. Maybe you want to sort a particular column, you want to sort based on a particular row. Python has functions for all that using the sort values. And all this is possible because we are able to import the necessary libraries. Without them, we would have errors in all this. So this shouldn't give us an output. We are just converting the other data using the pandas data set. So we are transforming the data at this stage. So we want the data in a way that is more meaningful so that we can perform our analysis. So over here we print out the data to check if any column has a null value or there isn't any value there. Probably you have a form online or you have a website you're running where users miss out on certain columns because they are not mandatory. At the end of the day, you want to get data for your analysis, but then you realize, oh, postal code has 11 which do not have any value at all. So in order for us to check, we write this simple code and it gives us all the data that has the postal code to be null. As you can see, this postal code column has no data and it sits at none. So For good analytical practices, we need to make sure that the data we are using doesn't have any loopholes. So to ensure data integrity, we make sure that everything we are using is up to what we want. So over here, this line especially shows us that we can insert data to all the fields at once where it doesn't have a value, like you said. So we call the particular column the postal code, then we give it a value. So let's run the code, then let's check if there are any null values. And as you can see, the postal code is 0 now. So let's come up here. Sorry. So take some time. Let me just. This will take some time. So. Okay. So as you can see, we do not have any more values, which is now from the postal code. So we get to the data visualization using the Seaborn and Matplotlib. So we have a number of visualizations that we could use. And some of them could be histogram, Gantt charts, and all this is possible because we are able to import the Seaborn and Matplotlib libraries. So I can't go over all the code because some of them may be advanced. So I mean, Benedict and Joshua would guide you when you enroll in their course. To end, let me quickly switch my screen to show you one pretty advanced. What else you can use Python for? Let me see. In terms of visualization also, you can use Python for animations to visualize this particular data set. This shows the most populated cities in the world. So over here, we are able to create a simple animation which plots the 25 top most populous cities in the world. So Benedict, over to you.
Yes, Daniel.
Daniel, yeah, thanks, Daniel. Please, am I coming through?
Yes, you're going to. Yeah, but before you can, if anyone has any question.
I think there's a question.
Yeah, Adam, you can unmute and
Yeah. So I have two questions. So the first one is you're mentioning Benedict had some place that can teach all of this. How did that help you? Do you feel like it really pushed you to get you the understanding you have currently right now? Or is it
Benedict,
something you can do with work?
yes,
Okay,
okay.
yeah, so we understand uh, Python or analytic data analytics is not meant for IT guys only, right? So we try to walk you through the fundamentals programming, trying to understand how programming work, how the computer itself work. I mentioned on this when Daniel started, I started by defining. Then we walk you through that principle, that framework, okay, whereby we said, okay, you need data for a computer. It has to be processed. Now, when we even talk about data processing, for instance, if I mention Eden in, let's say, the company that you work or your class, probably that you are not the only Eden that is there will be high, right? So if I combine, let's say, if Eden is your surname and you have another other name, given name, I combine the two, right? In this case, I've processed data, I've taken data from here, taken data from here, and I've tried to merge it. So you build you through a gradual process until when you can build complex results, right? Complex outcome. So you let the user understand that, okay, you have someone name, you have the person's age, they are all transacting. You are buying something from Pizza Man, you are buying something, but amount, maybe probably there's a location. If the IP, you're able to extract IP, can we as well, based on where data is coming from, how we structured our system, then market our product to people residing at a certain location. So let you understand the data that you are dealing with and the thoughts that you can form around. Then we walk you through the technical skills as well. So we assume you don't uh, have the IT background, but how can you help you reason as a business person, understand that IT, then now walk you through the code. That is our approach to data analytics, and it cut across whether we are doing a Power BI or SQL, or because we know it's not like I said from the chart that I show you. The business analytics or business intelligence is been now a finance or business function. Okay, I don't know whether I've tried to answer you.
Okay, yes, you have. Thank you very much. The Daniel really presented well. He really brought my interest into the Python programming language. It makes it seem like even I can learn it and even do it myself.
Yeah, for everybody,
Thank you,
everybody,
Dan.
everybody. Another, yes, Daniel and I work in the same institution, and he knows what we are doing. Data analytics. When we joined our company, was when I joined before Daniel, and it was under IT. Moved to another department, and now under our finance. And it's global. It's not global. It's not like it's global. Okay. Yeah. So I think, Lord Fred, you have your hand up.
Yes, please. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, please. I joined late. I'm happy about the tutorials that you guys are giving us, and I'm a beginner, so I want to know the process, how I can join other the follow-up classes that you can organize for us, so that I can also benefit more from it, because I really want to learn about this data analytics thing.
Okay. So thanks for your question and your interest as well. So let me just in 30 seconds or a minute maximum, let me share my screen and I will address you. Like you said, we talk about the journey here, whereby we know, and there's a world data, right? This is a research-based data. Let me go there. No, here. That in the world today, as we speak, Excel is being used for analysis or
Yeah.
analytics. But we look at where Python comes in. So we try to start the journey from Excel. You don't need programming to do Excel analytics, because we do analytics with tables, we do analytics with there's a data analysis functionality set in Excel that many are not using. We try to do transformation. We try to use the Power Query in external function in Excel as well to do the same work that the guy using Python will probably do. But we saw the limitation that Excel have, right? Then now we walk you through the Power BI aspect, whereby we do the visualization. But you know that Power BI also from Microsoft has the same external feature, the Power Query for automation, where we do the data transformation stuff, where we check out for the duplicates, we clean the data wrangling, modeling, combining. Before we even come to the analysis, because we've established the point that the good results, it depends on the transformation. Likely, we also try to walk you through. We don't we allow the training to decide whether to take Tableau. Note that Tableau is usually dominated in Europe and America, and like I said, most schools in America, undergraduate, take analytic course irrespective of the discipline, right? But Microsoft has dominated this sub-region, and hence most companies are now using Power BI. Then we come to the Python, and if you want to take SQL as well, because by the time you get to Python and SQL, now you have a depth knowledge about what you are doing. The same way we try to talk about the business aspect, whereby we look at the analytics, how you even see data, business understanding. Two companies, two institutions. Let's say two universities. They are all taking the same student data, but one even can go ahead and wish a student during his or her birthday. I remember I have an experience with Arizona State University when I showed the intro. I was trying to fill the form. I didn't even complete that form. But during my birthday, this school wished me, they sent me a sandbox that I should choose from, which is music. But the same institution, we have the same institution here, who have our date of birth, but never mind us. They don't know what to do with that date of birth. You get me? So the same data, based on what you said at the end of the day, you want to get X number of students. Based on that, you try to excite the student journey right from onboarding, right from the guy trying to purchase your application. What can you do with the data? So we try to let you understand strategy, how you can formulate strategy, the same data that you have, and how you can approach your analytics, how you can approach your transformation, how you can approach anything that you are doing. So that mindset runs through what we do, and how now you can communicate to the audience that you have or the people that we are working with. So we look at the soft, we look at the technical skill as well. So that's how we approach data analysis. Like I said, we look at the data analysis and we add the business analytics where you form the strategy to meet the data results. I don't know whether you are okay with my brief, though I said 1 minute, but I think I've lost. I try to control timing, but I think I've lost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. So, please, any other question? Yeah. So, I think if you want to join, you can engage us as well. We will place our contacts in the chat window, and you can pick it up as well. Hello, Joshua.
Hello.
So Joshua will take us to the last before Joshua comes. When you show us some in Python, right? We are as well. You see, you are also able to even do test analytics. This is in Power BI, but you need a license base. It's an AI functionality, whereby even you run a school, you run a shop, and even you want to hear from your customers what they feel about a product that you just released, whether it's good. So you want to analyze, understand them. In terms, maybe you want to perform a sentiment, whether the product that you released it was good or not. You have a school and you want to have a complaint system. You want to understand what people are usually complaining about, right? So this is a data set we had from Amazon Live Data. Okay. Now there's a column here that states about reviews, title review. So you can see satisfied. Charging is really fast and value. We have another content here, column or review content. Look durable. Charging is fine. So you want to understand whether the product that you have is positive based on which product, so that you can do more or advise yourself. You want to understand people's sentiments. Sentiments are not numerics; they are all text. So we as well, we don't leave you with just the numbers. We as well leave you with the text side where you have um, text data, right? Not just numerical data, right? How you can descriptive, how you can as well use the tools, and even the sentiment, whether it's a positive score or it's not a positive score. So I then really to score that, oh, okay, with product, let's say a charger, a type C charger, based on the review that we have from our client, the scoring at a sentiment score of this. If it's the then it means that it's doing well. If it's not doing well, what is contributing to that? So we as well don't leave you with the numerical, right? We as well add the test analytics and sentiment analytics, which most find it difficult. But like I said, we walk through the journey seamlessly for you to analyze. By the time we get here, we already have some basis of programming, and we don't just start data analytics. We start with when we get to Python and SQL. For instance, SQL, we try to even teach you how to create your own database, how you can create your own tables, those who are familiar with this thing. Before now, we now come and throw in data and perform analytics for you to not you are using a tool, but you don't understand how the tool behaves. So no, we let you know how the tool itself behaves so that after the course you can as well run through and have the needed support on your own. So Joshua, I think you would like to talk about this, then we end the session if there's no other these insights, most valuable customers like we mentioned in our slides. I don't know whether you can share your screen and take over.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. I believe my bosses have said a lot about data analytics in Python. Ben has said a lot on this, and then Danny also has said a lot on how you can visualize your data. So I will not have much to say. Okay. So Danny has already explained. I hope we all can see my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay. So Danny has already explained how you can read your Excel file using the Python query. So these are the data set that we have imported from. So now when you come here, first we wanted to visualize the data to know the total products of sales that were being sold at based on the regions. Okay, so when you look at the data, you can see that there is a place that we have the region slot. So we want to find the total sales of products. We want to visualize it to know the number of products that were being sold based on the region. So when we come here, as you can all see, I am calling my region, and then I am telling, or I'm using the Python library called the plots. So I'm saying that we are going to use a bar graph to be able to represent the data that we want to visualize. So as you can see over here, I've indicated what we are using, which is the bar. And then the figure size has to do with the size of my bar, how I want it to display. So we have the width to be 10, and then the height to be 5. Then I give the title to my visual, what I am trying to do, so that when someone sees the visual, he or she will directly know what we are trying to achieve. So I have to give a title to my visual. Then I said that on the x axis you have to plot for me the name of the various regions, as you can see at the down here. Then on the y you have to label the total revenue that were generated from the product that were being sold based on the various region. And then the next line, which is the plk.xfix, simply shows that you have to, as you can see here, I want the text to the region text to be rotated to a certain angle. That is what the rotation means. And then the show now displays our visuals for us to see. So let's assume that I've taken this out. Let's see what will happen. So when I took the dot show out, you can see that it's giving me the array values of each of the bars. Okay, so I want us to bring it back, then we see what we get.
So when we bring the dot show back, you can see that the array
I'm not sure say
values are taken off.
okay. I'm not sure say
Now, the same data set that we have done using the bar chart, we can also represent the same thing using the pie chart. But with this one, we want to know the total percentage of products that were being sold based on the category. So we want to know the total percentage. So over here, I'll have to define where actually we want to use as the base value, which is the category. And then with what type of visuals are we trying to use? So I said we want to use pie to depict the total number of or the total percentage of products that were being sold. So as usual, we have to give title to our visual so that when someone picks it, the person will automatically know what we are trying to visualize. So when we come here, you give your labels, which are the names that are going to show on the pie chart. So we have the office supplies, we have the furniture, we have the technology. Then I'm saying that on each part of this pie, a color has to be allocated to each of the percentage for the user to be able to have a clear view of what we are doing. So I have allocated color to each section of the percentage. So as you can see over here, we have the 60.30% with its own color. So from this visual, you can see that the office supply has the highest percentage when it comes to purchases of products. Are we okay?
Yes.
Any questions so far? All right. So the last thing I will show you before Mr. Benedict comes in. Okay. So this is another graph, but over here we are trying to match the sales with the states that we have in our data set. But over here we are saying that we want the bar charts to be labeled so that when you pick, let's go back to the first one that I showed you, you realize that this one you will not be able to read the exact value of the various bars. When you take the west, you don't know the exact value of the west bar. So what we are trying to do over here is that we said when you pick the bar, you should be able to know the exact price, okay, of each product that were being sold. So with this, we label the various bar to be able to give you the exact value. So with this, you can have a clear visuals of whatever that you are trying to do. So we defined our label, the X and the Y as we did in the first, which is the customer and then the revenue. And then we assigned a label or a price tag to the various bar so that when we run our visuals, you are able to see the value for each of the various bars pertaining to the products that are being sold. So I think this is the few things. Yeah. Yeah.
So just on this slide, like those half is the most vulnerable customers. Like I said, it's business, right? You want to know which customers you want to play with. Which customers, even if they work for your shop, you want to put priority on them. So this particular one, you have to decide that which clients are more valuable. Not to say other ones are not valuable, but they bring you value, right? So you create those customers. You have insight about all those kind of customers. That's the insight that we usually trying to show. Like where you have the customers' name and the right prices, and in the bars you can see the money, right? You have the based on the scenario that you look at, then you derive it. So you don't stop in just plotting graphs, or you plot that math with a strategy. Okay, you spend time because that leads the cases, the scenario that we discussed earlier.
Yeah, yes, please. That's all.
Yes. So we don't want to keep you holding. I think we have quite. You can stop sharing. We have quite a lot of things that we could go through, but with the purposes of time, we may end here. Okay, then probably we continue. We continue in an upcoming session. Okay, in an upcoming session where we can even see the states which generated highest revenue. Want to see, we want to do reports, we want to launch new branches, we want to, right? This is a good time to start doing like this. I think Daniel talked about the categories as well. So we can see category technology generated the highest revenue of about 800,000, right? Revenue. Total revenue generated as well is this figure. We can as well see here, there's a nice chart here where it also depicts that we can see the product technology knowledge also compare generated the highest revenue. So you have the various even segment of the items that they were selling, and as well what they brought in. So you can see in the middle now that the total revenue that this product brought in to the organization as well. So with fighting, you're able to, you see, there's a nice chart as well here, and these are just minute of them. Like Joshua was trying to put us in this, we go through the seaborn and mascot, and they are advanced interactive libraries like the plotting calculus, whereby you see the general can even how the image are formed. You would love to include that in your probably your PowerPoint slides to see so you can play with. So it helps you to get a whole lot of awareness of that. The last one I want to talk about is the correlation, right? Whereby you can even see you can plot correlation. Correlation is trying to measure the relationship between two variables, right? That sales in terms of home office, how much is there any relationship between them? So you can see there's a color code here depicting a no correlation given from 0 to 1, right? Where after 0.5, 0.6 usually considered as the moderate. So the color code that we have as a bars here depicts the magnitude of the correlation. So if you see a color, for instance, we have a 0.8 here. So if you come here, you see a color code that indicates 0.8, you know that it is strong. Meaning that a strong relationship. There's a strong relationship between probably a sales and home office. Okay, maybe there's a strong relationship. For instance, you can see segment corporate and segment corporate consumer is 0.6. So I think it's moderate, right? Approaching a 1 becomes a strong, but if you take sales and segment corporate, it's not strong. So you don't want to channel your energy. Correlation is when probably people Amazon, for instance, use for recommendation, where they know that once you buy a belt, probably you want to buy another um, item. So that will drive them. Okay, anytime when they are doing stocking, they have to ensure that these two items are there. These two items are so that it can drive sales revenue, right? Because know that everybody says strategy. So there are quite a lot of things that we can discuss, even with machine learning. This we didn't capture the machine learning aspect that we can talk when we are using when we can do forecasting once we bring in machine learning. So we will end here. We know we've kept you long here. We planned for 1 hour, but I think we've gone beyond. Forgive us. We have a lot of insightful things. If you have any question, you can bring it up. Then we will discuss it. All right. Thank you, guys. Please, any question? Any question?
Please, good evening.
Good evening.
Please, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Na Otwa, and
Oh,
it's been an insightful teaching. So I want to thank you. I don't really have a question, but I want to really thank you for this insight. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much for the compliment and the feedback. Please, any question from anyone? Please feel free. And if you want to engage us too, our site will be pinned on the comment section. We'll as well pick it up for subsequent engagement and discussion into data analytics journey. I've dropped my number in the chat box. You can have it and we can continue with the engagement. So, guys, thank you very much for your time and honoring our invite. And we hope to get in touch in the future where we all share the excitement. And, guys, we cannot rest because even the politician, Alan, made a statement when we resigned by saying that the future is in data analytics, artificial intelligence. You hear Mahama talking the same thing, you hear Baumia talking, and even outside our shores, outside our boardroom, and everywhere, everybody is talking about data analytics. Does not mean you have to have insights about data. So please, let's all be aggressive about how we can equip ourselves and not leveraging on just what we know, but enhance our skills as well. So thank you and have a good evening, and we enjoy having you on this session. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Joss, and thank you, Robert, and to the rest of the audience who joined. Do have a good evening.
You too. Bye. Thank you. Have a good night all.
Bye.